Hey guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be putting the Flow Super from the FlowHive invention on top of our brood boxes. So we have the two that you guys have seen. And actually we had some crazy situation happen where after we put that second brood box on, they didn't build the comb straight down. They built like this one massive piece of comb. And so we had to kind of dissect it and put it all back together and bandage it in the combs, and it was a mess. But we ended up feeding all the rest of the honey that, we couldn't save back to the hive, so it was totally okay. Oliver, can you stop messing with that? Sorry, my cat's messing with the bag. Anywho, so we did that, and they actually, so what we did after that, after we took and dissected everything, we put 4 of the already built combs from the original box below, and we put them up top, and then we put 2 empty frames on one side, 2 empty frames on the other side, and then filled 2 empty frames on the bottom brood box, where we took those 4 frames out and put them in the top box, and they built straight down. So I think they just kind of need like a guide, from other combs, oh, this is what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to build one massive comb. Anywho, so now it's been about 3 weeks since we dissected and everything, so now we're putting the FlowHive on. We're super excited. We are actually about to kind of modify our stand. We're going to be gluing these new ant traps that we made onto the bottom of the stand. So today we are actually moving over the hive, and we are putting the FlowHive on, so you will see that in the video, but we are going to be moving it back over to the other stand once we glue those little feet on. Look at my shit man, he's so cute. So if you guys are interested in seeing all that process, putting on the FlowHive and all that good stuff, then just keep on watching. So as you guys can see, we're just kind of unsticking the hive from the original stand because we haven't moved it ever, so it is sort of kind of glued down. So that's all you're seeing us do right now. We're just picking up the hive and we're putting it onto the temporary stand until we can get our old stand with the ant traps that we made on the bottom of them. So that's what we're doing now. We're just going to set it down. You guys will see the bees kind of get a little frustrated after we move them because they don't appreciate being moved in any way. But, they're not too upset. And we really try not to smoke them. Only when we're actually getting into the entire hive and checking each frame is when we smoke them, just to kind of limit the amount of honey that they're engorging. So we are now, if you see in Kyle's hand, he has the queen excluder. So right now he's taking off the top of the hive, and then he's going to put the queen excluder down, which is really important to have if you're going to put any sort of honey supers on, because the excluder will keep the queen from going up there and laying babies inside of your honey. And sorry, the camera angle is so terrible and it just shifted, and I'm sorry. I didn't realize that there was this, the smoker is actually in the view. If you see the thing on the right, the silver blob on the right of the screen, that is our smoker. And I don't know why I didn't realize that it was in the view. Sorry about that. But you can still get basically the entire view of the hive besides me standing in the way. Anywho, so we are putting the excluder on right now, and we just flipped it around because it kind of had a little bit of a bend to it, so we're putting it down in the way that the bend, I don't know, it's hard to describe. But anywho, now we are going to go ahead and put the Flow Super box on top. It is a different kind of length strut. It is built specifically for the flow frames, so it is cut a little bit differently than a standard Langstruth box. So you wouldn't just be able to go buy a standard one and then use them for the flow frames. You would have to kind of build one that would fit the flow frames if you didn't already have one. So now we're just putting the flow frames in. The first one we actually put in wrong, so you'll see we flip it around, but that's all we're doing. We're just putting them in there. We already actually cleaned the frames out. Over the winter time, a bunch of wax moths went into our flow frames and laid a bunch of larvae. So what we did was we soaked the frames in water overnight in our bathtub, and that killed all the larvae. And then we just literally pulled all the larvae out with Q-tips and rinsed all the frames off, so they're all brand new and clean. So not brand new, but they're clean. And so now the bees will go in there and kind of clean up any, anything that's left that we might have missed. And they're also going to go in there and start repairing the comb so that they can start filling it up with honey. And I actually go inside right now to find our little plug that we're missing. You'll see on the back side we're missing a plug. So I go inside and I'm trying to look for it now. Kyle is continuing to put in all of the flow frames for us into the top of the FlowHive. And you can see the bees are a little bit frustrated right now, but like I said, we try not to smoke them just so it keeps the keeps the stress level at a minimum, because when you do smoke them, it does kind of trigger them to think that their hive is going to be, there's a forest fire, basically, is what the smoke triggers them to think. So they start engorging on their honey, and we don't really want them to do that all the time. So Kyle is putting the last frame in right now, and then I'll be back here pretty soon to bring in the plugs. And that's basically it. All you're going to do now is you're going to put on your lid, and then you're going to put on your roof. And that is it. It's super, super easy to add your flow frames onto your hive. And you see in all these pictures of the FlowHive, they have one brood box and then they have the flow supers on top. But we did that last year, and even FlowHive said, no, you really want 2 brood boxes on the bottom before you put your flow supers on top. That's giving your hive plenty of room to grow and build their own brood and their own comb, so that they can grow and not get crammed and not want to swarm. So I do recommend, if you are going to get the FlowHive, to do that. So now we have our flow frames up on the top right here. Brood box number 2, brood box number 1. We officially have a 3-box hive. I'm so excited. Our bees are doing so good. And there's still so much more, honey flow left of the year. So I'm super excited to see how well they do. Alrighty guys, so that is it. So sorry, it has been quite a while. It's been about 8 hours since we put on the top flow frames, but I had to go to work immediately after I did that, so I didn't have time to film my outro. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I can't wait to show you guys how everything progresses and how they do with the new flow supers on. So if you guys did like this video, please do me a favor and give it a thumbs up. And if you have not already and like to be, subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.